Hey, welcome to the Psychic Soul Healer channel. My name is Laura, and if you're new to the channel, anything that you need to know about the channel, you can find in the description box below. Okay, I'm going to do a general message for my Capricorn people. Okay, it's going to be a general message, but know that energy is fluid, so roles could be reversed. You may have to flip it, switch it, twist it, take what you need, leave the rest, never force anything. But again, no, because energy is fluid, I could also be talking about something that did happen, something that's happening in the present moment, or something that will happen in the future. It's up to you again to determine what resonates for you. And I always say, if I channel out something that already happened, don't just disregard it. See how it is influencing what is happening in your present moment. See how it could influence what's going to happen in your future. A lot of times when we hear information again, intuitively, we're called to take some sort of action that actually will change the direction of a situation, might avoid a karmic situation. So this is why we want to not just disregard it. Okay, so if you are new to the channel, just know that I always have a giveaway, and every day you can enter to win this free giveaway. All you need to do is like the video, comment the word healer, and subscribe to the channel. Those three things will get you right in to enter into winning a free psychic reading. Excuse me, I'm like choking here. So also, if you wrote the word healer, you have to keep an eye out if I comment underneath your word. I'm sorry. Underneath your word, if I comment underneath your word, I wrote winner, then all you need to do is reach out to me at pureenergyhealer70@gmail.com so we can figure out the best time that we can get together to do your live stream. I don't know what's going on with my voice. Excuse me. Like a vortex trying to, maybe somebody out there is having a hard time communicating. Maybe somebody, again, maybe there's a Capricorn or someone that you're connected to Capricorn that has a frog in their throat, can't seem to clear their throat to get the words out. Sometimes, spirit talks to us through symbols, signs and symbols. All right, first card out now. Guys, I'm going to look at your spiritual situation first. Like what's happening with you spiritually, what's going on in your connection spiritually. Then I'm going to look at the actual situation, hidden truths, what the triggers are, what the wounds are, what the karmic lessons are, and what the actual, what's actually happening within your life. And the reason why I like to look at it through all different perspectives is, again, the more information we have, the better we're able to deal with the situation. First card out is narrow-minded. I feel as if, again, you and your person both are narrow-minded. To be honest with you, Capricorn, you're narrow-minded. You're both narrow-minded due to the relationships that you've been in. A lot of trauma will do that. We are narrow-minded also due to what we believe our relationship should look like. And if it doesn't look like that, then we're not gonna be opened to it. Anything that challenges our reality and what we believe our reality should be. So I'm already feeling that there's an imbalance, and it's, again, core belief. If the core belief is imbalanced, then we're not going to get a good outcome. Opinionated. So look at this. Narrow-minded and opinionated. So it's, again, pretty much meaning the same thing when you think about it. It's someone doesn't want to hear anything about anyone else's point of view. And then if you're going to say something, they're going to be opinionated about it. So you're dealing with a person I feel like is triggered, or you could be this way. You could be narrow-minded and then just have very strong opinions about your views. But the problem is that that can trigger the people that you want to be connected to a lot of times. And the reason why I say that is a lot of times soulmate twin flames, they don't think the same way. They don't do things the same way. So the whole point is that we learn, and we're continually relearning things that we felt we already learned. And we do so by returning to it, to a situation, and looking at that situation from a different perception. So I'm feeling as if someone actually is narrow-minded and was opinionated, and now they're kind of waking up to the fact of how they were narrow-minded and how they were opinionated. Exquisiteness, and now they're seeing you as, again, like it's different, it's exquisiteness. And this is good because a lot of times in soulmate twin flame relationships, we always see one person that tends to be a little bit more extra than the other person. One person is very grounded, very logical, linear, fact, and one person is more creative, intuitive, and exquisite. So there was also a lot of, again, in the beginning when this person met you, they didn't, like I said, they looked at it more like from a negative perspective because that's how they were brought up. They were brought up around different structures, very, very, very conservative, where I don't feel like you are Capricorn. So again, soulmate twin flames help each other see things differently. They help each other evolve because they both have different gifts. The paradox, excuse me, the paradox of the relationship is extreme, cruel. And I believe that the soul connection really is, you both brought up around with parents that were cruel, and or were seen as cruel, maybe not. And remember, to the child's self, if a child isn't getting emotionally what they need, they will perceive the parent as cruel. So it's, again, emotional support is just as important as physical support. But I kind of feel like there were things that happened in both parties' childhood that, again, that were cruel. And so they have deep seated wounds that actually mirror each other. Though they're both parties are very paradox, meaning very different. They approach things differently, they see the world differently, they handle things differently. And in the beginning, it was seen as negative. Now, by one person, I don't believe that the other person thought anything of it, maybe just a little stiff or rigidity or closed off. I feel as if Capricorn, you felt like your person was closed off, where I feel like your person felt like the exquisiteness that they see in you now bothered them. They saw it as showy and loud, and they didn't understand it. And that's possibly because you're a public figure. It's possibly because you have a big personality. Maybe I feel like a lot of you are educators. So again, and on a larger platform. So maybe using your social media to educate. So again, they're used to being with someone that takes a back seat to their personality. And I don't really feel like their personality is big. I just feel like they're very, again, left brain, like an almost old fashioned. is the energy there. Like just how, like, take everyone has a role. So the narrow-minded is, you know, their perception of how you should be based on maybe who they dated, but meanwhile who they dated is why they have why they're opinionated to begin with, and it was all based on cruelness, and there was a lot of spiritual blocks, there was a lot of karmic lessons for both parties, and now I feel like this soulmate twin flame journey has brought your union together, and it's very, very, you guys are very, very different. I'm going to look at some of the wounds from your person and then yours. I'm going to pull 2 for your person and 2 for you. That's going to help us understand whatever unfolds within your storyline. So we see already that this is a soulmate twin flame union that's very different. Opposites attract. And it starts off very bumpy, kind of like narrow-minded and opinionated, but there's an attraction there. But both parties have wounds, so there's trust issues, and now one person is changing their perception. Okay, let's see. Sadness. Take time to grieve. Don't drop anchor here. Honor what your heart wants. So it's, again, I believe that your person that was narrow-minded, that is narrow-minded and opinionated, has found themselves kind of in a dark night of the soul. They're very, very sad. They're stuck. They're stuck because they've, I feel like some of them have been in a relationship that just is dead. It's like there's nothing there. There's a lot of muddy water underneath the bridge. It can't be resolved. It's 2 people that exist together, and it's draining your person because they don't want to stay in the relationship, but I feel like they're connected to someone that wants to stay in the relationship. So there's a lot of guilt, there's a lot of grief, there's a lot of sadness. And the truth of the matter is this person is stuck. And they really need to honor what their heart wants. And I believe that their heart wants to be with you. And now I feel that others of you are connected to someone that isn't dating anyone at all, that isn't connected to anyone at all. They just choose to be alone, stuck in the past, stuck in this energy again where they got hurt, and they have a lot of opinions about love that keep them blocked and keep them stuck in sadness. And they, again, but I believe soulmate twin flame relationship is the catalyst for change, right? If we're so passionate about someone, we can't stop thinking about that person. We feel obsessive about that person because that person feels like home. That person, even though that person is so different, can't even wrap our head around it because it's that person may not be our type. Again, everyone tends to have a type. This person's not my type. They don't think the way. It's not an easy relationship. Everything about the relationship a lot of times transcends the logical mind. So, that's why it works, because this person doesn't believe in love and now is starting to believe in love because they're starting to see the difference, that you're different. Doesn't mean that they don't have fear. Okay, martyr. Yeah, so your person stays in a situation where they play the martyr, like sacrificing themselves. Like they don't want to be in that relationship, but they are connected to someone that is in the relationship. And I believe that others might hide behind taking care of family, whether that's their own children or whether or not it's a parent. It's something to keep them detached from really being involved in their life in the department of love. So this is where they are. Those are their wounds. What are your wounds, Capricorn? What are your wounds? Expectations, setting unrealistic goals, put someone on a pedestal. Be honest with yourself. So I believe that you see that this person has a lot of potential, but you're not seeing that they're, for them to like be a martyr, they're essentially not, they're living in guilt, they're living in shame, they're living in, there's something that's binding them. So there's a bigger thing to this. They're not just staying in a relationship that they choose to be unhappy. There's something actually binding them, and that would be again a lot of guilt I'm feeling. I feel like there's no, it hasn't been love in this connection for a long time. So your person cheated on their person for a long time, and they just learned to departmentalize. When you came along, they never expected to have any feeling, I don't think, because it's again that your person was narrow minded. They didn't believe in love. They weren't looking for that. They were sad, they're sad. They're even more sad now that you're not in their life. But the exquisiteness and the fact that you're different, and I think that they also feel bad because I think that they were also a little cruel to you. I think that they projected a lot. So you had expectations. You weren't looking at the fact that there's in this relationship that they're not happy in, and that they're kind of lying about who they are. That you saw a lot of potential in this person, but it was unrealistic. Whoops, too many. Ooh, you might have a lot of blocks around this relationship. What else? Superior, wanting your privilege better than your stance. Be kind to everyone. I think that this isn't really like you feel like you're superior. I think that your person thinks that you're superior. I think because you live a certain life that your person isn't. Remember, your person has forced themselves to live with a person that they don't love. And whether that's for money, whether that's for children, whether that's for because of guilt, whatever the reason is, it doesn't matter. But you don't live that way. So I think that they would feel, and I also think that there's a part of you, and I don't want to come across as how can I say this? I don't believe that you're superior, acting superior, but there's a sense of can you forgive this person for not seeing your worth? There's a sense of you almost feeling as if you have to act superior, as if this person knew what they were doing. So a block is again this perception. It's almost like a trigger that there's a sense that you feel as if because you had expectations of them and you saw how wonderful they are, that there was a sense of that you don't feel that they saw your worth. And so now I feel like you're trying to prove that you're um, of worth. And in that, I feel like it's coming across as if you're trying to be superior. And also, like, can you be soft enough in dealing with this person to begin with? Because there's almost this energy like that your person doesn't believe that you could. And whether you can or not, it's again, that's their perception. I want to see what the triggers are. Now, these triggers could just be not even a trigger that you're creating. It could be, again, the third party that's creating it. Or it could be a trigger that you both have. Or it could be just a trigger that individually you have. So we're just going to pull like one for each. Okay, what is their trigger? Powerless. I felt powerless and like all control was taken from me. So again, I believe that this is your person's biggest fear, and they're living their biggest fear, which is that they're powerless. They're powerless over their life. but they're the ones giving up their life. Because again, that guilt and that shame is what's binding them in the sadness. Like, look at this, it's like sadness. It's like, don't drop anchor here. Like, the person's like parking it here, and like and then saying, well, I'm not really sad because I'm doing the right thing. Like, they're, again, their ego is trying to make it look better. Again, it's another way that the ego will tries to protect this person from moving forward. It's scary to go into the unknown. It's easier to stay with what is, even if it's toxic or imbalanced. And that's kind of like your person is acting like they're powerless, like that whoever they're connected to has all the control over them, and that's not true. And what is your trigger, Capricorn? What is your trigger? Disturbed. I have suffered enough mental and emotional abuse. So I feel like you grew up with people that what didn't treat you kindly. And I believe that your person hasn't treated you kindly, because if they're connected to someone else, they weren't not 100% giving to you. And then when I also believe now that the superior could have been them acting superior when you called them out on their stuff. And that is why you would also see that they were cruel. But now they're seeing your worth. So you're disturbed because you're like, I've been treated this way before, and you're someone that I'm really connected to. And again, that's your trigger. That's your fear, Capricorn, of being with someone that mentally and emotionally abuses you, possibly because you grew up in that type of trauma, and your person feels powerless where they also were the victim. So you both have very similar spiritual wounds. And so they're seeing that why your person was the way that they were to you. But I want to look at some of the hidden truths. Look at some of the hidden truth of what they're, not telling you. We're going to pull three. I'm being told to pull three from that. Let's see. I know that I crossed the line with you, so I believe that they weren't honest about their that the person that they're connected to. They possibly made it sound like they were divorced, that they were separated, or that they didn't have any feelings at all. And I don't believe that they have passionate feelings, but I believe that they're codependent with this person. And I also believe that the wound that's binding your person to this past person is like karma, family karma, that they grew up with someone that made them feel powerless. And now they're reliving that. And so they weren't honest with you. They portrayed themselves as someone that they weren't, and then they never let you 100% in or close so you could see that. And so they continually made you not feel good. They continually were cruel. And you both grew up in that environment. So it's like this is almost like a trauma bond relationship. Where, Capricorn, do you love yourself enough? Do you know your worth enough? And this person needs to learn to, like, again, step into who they need to become, and not stay connected to people that are abusive just because it's comfortable. And not even because it's comfortable, because it's not comfortable at this point in time, but because it's familiar. I replay our conversations over and over. So I still believe that, again, even though like soulmate, twin flame, trauma bond relationship, the only difference, there really is none. Like a soulmate, twin flame, healthy relationship is a relationship that they find balance. They find balance, that the relationship makes each other grow and again become better people, step into who they truly are, but by first pulling out all the wounds and by being mirrors for each other. That's how the wounds are seen, are because you're drawing a person to you that has the same wounds as you do. They've lived very similar experiences where again your person felt powerless, Capricorn, and you again grew up not feeling like safe, like you suffered like enough mental and emotional abuse where possibly you grew up in an alcoholic family or with a parent that continuously gaslighted. So I mean this energy is the same energy. You had big expectations because again I feel like you felt that soulmate twin flame connection, but unfortunately trauma bond relationship is the same, and that difference with a soulmate twin flame relationship that you are dealing with people on two different vibrations, that you are on a higher vibration, your person was not on the same vibration as you, so they stayed connected to a karmic. They lied about who they were. They breadcrumbed to make sure that they didn't let you that close. They had perceptions about who they believed you were before really like getting to know you, possibly because they were, talking to multiple people, breadcrumbing everyone because they couldn't be giving anyone that much if they were connected to someone else. So there's a sense that they know that you know who they truly are right now. But now they're missing the relationship. They're missing this connection. That's why they're replaying over and over in their mind the conversations. And what they're seeing is that you were really a genuine person. You really cared about them. I love you. And that's what I felt. So this is a person that's not healed, but their emotions and their feelings are true. Their emotions and their feelings are true. That's pull like three cards just to look and see what's going on, like with them, what's going on in the situation. Can we get a little bit more insight of what's actually going on? Because okay, they're in this situation with somebody else, and but they have feelings for you. I want to know what's going to happen. Okay, this one card flew out. I am embarrassed by my actions, feel disgusted with myself. So that's what flew out onto the floor. So again, they're possibly like, I don't even want you to see who I am. I don't even want you to see who I am because I'm like again embarrassed by myself. Like I see who you are now. I didn't see who you were. Now I see who you are, and I'm ashamed of myself. Ooh, another one that flew out. Oh, I cannot be vulnerable with you. So it's again this sense of needing to act strong, not being able to show their feelings. So they're hiding. Because and again, that can't be vulnerable because they're attached to someone else. If they become vulnerable, then they will have to make a choice, really make a choice. And I feel like they're not in love with the person that they're connected to, but they're guilted. They almost need to get away from that person to think straight because I believe that the person that they're connected to is 24/7, knows that your person does not want to be with them, knows that there's someone else there, does not know who, because your person isn't talking to you and isn't coming near you, but they know that someone's there because I think that normally they're able to break them down and make the relationship like go back to the way that it was, where they know that their person cheats, but always comes back to them, so has learned to deal with it and doesn't like it, but you know, your person is kind of just shut off from them. So, but they're not get coming near you either because they're like, I can't, they know that they need healing and they also are like terrified to have another connection. I will see you sooner than you think. So I think your person wants to see you. So I have a feeling that they're going to like try and run into you. I think that I'm feeling as if they're really embarrassed, but they really want to talk to you. They really want to see you. They know that you're not talking to them. They don't want to, they don't know how to approach you. They don't know what to say. They also don't want to come across vulnerable. So I really feel as if they are going to try and bump into you, or you're going to bump into this person very soon. And you're good enough. And I think that if you ever like were made to feel that you weren't good enough by this person, that they're the want you to know that obviously you are good enough. I also believe that they are good enough to like to step it up. But I think in this pretense they're talking about you, and that's one more than meets the eye. So it's again that's what I felt, that they believe that there is more to them that meets the eye. And again, that goes with you're good enough and more than meets the eye. So I believe that they're saying to you, I will see you sooner than you think, and I'm going to prove to you that there's more than meets the eye, and that, you are always good enough. It's their situation. I believe that they are going to, when they run into you, try to explain their situation, but they're going to actually first. I think the reason why that they don't just reach out through text or phone is because A, they're trying and waiting for you. B, because it would be easier. They wouldn't have to explain anything. It's kind of like the coward's way out. Or B, have plan to run into you, like knows where you go, kind of follows you on social media. So planning on running into you so that they can see you, so that they can feel out what how how you're going to take them, so that they can react in accordance to how they intuitively are led to. Which if they see you, I think that they feel it'll be a lot more. They'll be able to see whether that connection is still there. Believe that your person is still connected to this person also, because they didn't believe that they could have anything better. And now they're again having a different perception. What is another message? Want to know one more message that your soulmate twin flame, even though again they're on a different vibration. So I believe that this, some people could say, well, it's a trauma bond, but soulmate twin flame helps people rise to the occasion. Your person, yes, is a trauma bond right now while they're stuck to that person, but when they leave and they evolve, because they're saying, I deserve to be happy. I deserve love. You are the catalyst for that. So I believe you making it difficult for this person, not being so open and letting them come to this awareness where they actually see you differently, makes them put more effort into the getting to know you, into the relationship. So now it's up to you and how you are going to proceed within the relationship. It's up to you. If you give them too much too soon, this person can easily revert back to the way that they were, and because they're wounds, they're healing those wounds. But if you hold to the way that you are, then your person is forced to like stay on your vibration because you're not going to allow it. If they want to be in your life, they have to. And that means every temper tantrum, every argument, you have to still hold your ground. That might be, again, boundaries. Your boundaries may be tested with this person. So, again, to help you evolve into a higher state of consciousness, it may be your boundaries were weak, people took advantage of you, you were victimized, you were betrayed, there were other, spiritual blocks. And now with this person that if you have to, again, stand your ground in what you want for your own life, your vision for your life, and, not waver with this person, then they have to, because love is healing. Love transcends. That's why we get those soulmate twin flame relationships. Now, whether a person wants to hold that vibration for long periods of time, that's altogether different. But usually, if soulmate twin flames are playing together, creating together, because again, that's why there is this union a lot of times to create, and meaning to create something in a physical form, to birth something together. That's why there's this intense passion that a lot of times soulmate twin flames, they have to be careful that they don't, they don't have a baby, they get pregnant if they don't want that, if they don't want to get pregnant, because a lot of times there's so much passion, but that passion is really to birth something, to create something in the physical world that's going to help both parties transmute their spiritual wounds. So it's like there's a lot of love here, but it's, again, there's trauma. So it's not smooth sailing. So let's see what their message is for you. My childhood was difficult and it still affects me. I was let down by people I loved and trusted, and that's how the reading started off. Again, where did the narrow-minded come? Where did the narrow-minded come? And again, with the cruelness, right? So your person you are the catalyst that is bringing up all of their childhood wounds, and they're looking at it, and because it's connection to love, intimacy, healing intimacy, and trust. So by you staying consistent, Capricorn, and never really wavering from your truth and from what you want, and again, the vision that you want for yourself, it's actually making your person bend to your will. And that's what I was said, that's what you would have to do continuously. So you probably might have not known that that's what you were doing unconsciously, but what it's working, it's making your person rise to the occasion. Now I wanted to close off and look at what is the twin flame karmic whole theme lesson. What are you guys supposed to be learning from this connection? I can call the take two. I don't know why, because they just kind of stuck in my hands. I'm gonna take them. All right. I close my eyes and I imagine you're here with me. It feels so real. I'm beginning to understand this is what it means to be in 5D with you. So your person, again, soulmate twin flame connection a lot of times, because both parties are so different and it's not a smooth journey. There's always a runner, there's always a chaser. A lot of times in this lifetime, they don't get to be together. Not in, again, they might meet up in another lifetime, but this union is a union that has lived many lifetimes together. So there is a real 5D connection, and 5D connection is of the heart and mind. So we know that we're only in physical form to learn and to manifest, and that ESP is of the heart and mind. So there's an energetic cord that's connecting you to your person, which is again is unconditional love. I believe that both parties try to break this connection a lot of times, but we're not able to. So again, it's made your person really think about the connection, how different it is, and that it means something. It's almost like if this relationship doesn't work out, you would be the one that got away. You would be the one that this person looks for in every single person that they date or they meet. They will be looking for you in that person, because there's such a deep soul recognition. And so your person knows that it's important. They don't know why, they don't know what it means, but there's also a sense of they feel it, that some of them that have children feel like you would make a great parent, that you're their ideal. Our love will manifest through the union of the heart and mind. What did I just say? It said, again, the ESP connection is of the heart and mind. Expanding those areas allows our love to grow. So both parties, again, are expanding their heart and mind too, which is what the soulmate twin flame connection is, because there's so many blocks, right, from how these two grew up. They grew up in environments that were not safe, that were cruel, right? So that made both the parties really narrow minded in what they believed. Again, and I believe that because opinionated. And I believe that both, again, the childhood was so difficult, and that's where it came. But the unconditional love, and I believe your person tried to act superior. I believe your person mainly sabotaged this connection a lot, and that's why they're embarrassed. They realized they didn't know what they had. They didn't really, they were, just kind of living from their ego. And so now they're like, listen, there's a lot more to me than meets the eye. I'm going to make sure. So they're again strategizing. How can I, meet into you? Because I believe that they've become a little bit obsessed because they keep replaying your conversations over and over and over. They feel bad because they weren't honest. That's why they're embarrassed. But they love you, and that's the thing that transcends. That transcends the mind. And what they're realizing is, again, this love is like no other. It's so different. And it is because that it's healing. It's healing the childhood trauma. Again, that expands the mind of all opinions and the limitations of what it should be. And there's no expectations. There's no ownership in love. And that's how it expands the heart. So that's why this union is here. And the spiritual message for both parties is really, you can be vulnerable and that you are good enough. And both parties felt very flawed. So again, there's going to be a lot of love in this relationship. And that's why the relationship is almost like it's so real, especially when you can see the person and feel the person in the 3D, you know, there's such a, like that person feels like home, there's such a deep connection. That's the only type of love that's going to transmute. So Capricorn, this is a great outcome. It's just you still need to be careful and go slow because, like I said, your person isn't 100% healed. Just hold do exactly what you're doing. Don't lose yourself. Hold to your vision, hold to your boundaries, and because that's what you have to do. Your boundaries is again, that's where your self-esteem comes from, your self-worth comes from, and it's going to be challenged. And the way that it's challenged a lot of times is through the people that we love. So just know, if you don't abandon it, your relationship will stay intact. A lot of times when we abandon ourselves through compromising ourselves, the relationship falls apart. Just like if you abandon yourself in anything, whatever you abandon yourself from winds up falling apart. All right, Capricorn, if you resonated with this, give me a like, comment the word healer in your comment bar, and subscribe to the channel. And you may win a free psychic reading with me. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye bye.